Obviously, everybody knows we're talking about Ulster University, and we are looking at how we're specifically looking at, in this particular webinar, about let's do business at McGee. And that's really where I want to take you today, to start thinking about potentially a career in business and indeed other more broad disciplines, and how a degree within our particular department may in fact support you to achieve that. So I need to start off by telling you, who exactly am I? I'm a senior lecturer in marketing, and I'm also the associate head of Department of Global Business and Enterprise. I've been at the McGee campus for many, many years. McGee as a campus is just one of many campuses that Ulster University have throughout Northern Ireland. We have ones in Belfast, we have a campus in Jordanstown, and we also have a campus in Coleraine. In addition, we have a number of links with other institutions right throughout the UK, in Birmingham and London, etc. So despite the fact that you might think it's just Ulster University, we're actually very far reaching. But for the purposes of today's presentation, I want to talk to you more generally about the McGee campus. But just to set this in context, who exactly are we? So within Ulster University, there's a particular faculty called the Ulster University Business School. And within that particular faculty sits the Department of Global Business and Enterprise. So we are actually the 6th largest business school in Britain and Ireland. We have some really good statistics here, and I really want to celebrate these, because becoming a student within Ulster University Business School allows you to become part of this big story, and indeed to continue our legacy. We are 7th in terms of impact with regard to our research. We're over 40 years plus having a positive business impact. So many, many moons long before I was born, of course, Ulster University Business School were impacting upon the business sector in Northern Ireland. We have 60,000 graduates in over 120 countries throughout the world. And especially now at the moment, I'm sure you're all very aware of COVID-19 and coronavirus, you start to realise just how big the world actually is in terms of countries. And when you think about 120 countries that we have graduates, and we have connections right throughout the world, so not just in terms of Northern Ireland, but everywhere. We return an economic impact in the year of over 40 million in Northern Ireland. We work with a variety of different professional bodies in terms of accountancy professional bodies. We work with more general export-based bodies that are supporting industry and organisations, and we also work with many marketing-based organisations, and you can become more familiar with those and I'll explain more of that as we proceed through the presentation. We work with visiting professors as business leaders that are currently supporting and growing and managing their own businesses, that have very real understanding of what happens day to day in a business environment, are feeding into our programs. In terms of investment and growth through knowledge transfer, as academics, we support small businesses to the tune of £7 million per year with regards to consultancy. I can talk to, if anybody wants any questions answered around that, I can certainly talk to that as well. I've done many consultancy projects, and it means I can bring that very live, real information back into the classroom. So we support through 5,000 hours of staff time innovation within local companies. So we're not just, what we deliver in the classroom comes from a very, very large source of information and a very large number of activities that allow us to remain contemporary and teach what really is happening in the business world. We've over 5,000 students. That's quite a lot of students. I would like to be part of that story if I were you. I would be thinking, well, I would like to be 5,001 or 2 or 3 or 4. About our business school, we have a vision. It's about entrepreneurial education. We want to teach and support and be the leaders in entrepreneurial education by 2021. So it's about creating entrepreneurial thinking, creativity, inspiration, innovation, drive in the pursuit of opportunities, and doing that within a practical context. We're really about our students. We are in the business of creating possibility. We create possibilities for businesses, and we create possibilities for our students through shaping your future. And then as a result of that, you join these businesses, and through the knowledge that we've given you, you become part of that bigger story where you're delivering an economic impact. We have a lot of strong relationships globally, not just with other institutions in the UK, for example, and indeed through all our graduates that are in over 120 countries. We also have strong links in the US with Harvard Business School and Babson College. And again, that feeds directly into what we do and shapes our thinking. As a graduate of UUBS, you're our product. And as a marketer, I'm always going to go back and think about products. What are we selling? What exactly are we? What is our product? You are our product. And I don't mean that in a really bad, cold sense. Because what we want to do is we want to make you into change agents. So that then when you're employed within a company, you can help that company to succeed. So by helping them to succeed, you become successful in your own career. We want you to be able to create value. We're going to instill a lot of skills in you. And I suppose whenever you look at a degree, it seems to be quite long, 3 or 4 years long. But if you break that down into manageable chunks, all of a sudden you start to realize as we move our way through your degree, we're building skills every step of the way. And in that skill building, we create you, the student. We help to shape you into value creators. And similarly to what we've done in terms of our staff that are educating you, and you could be those graduates. You could be one of those. You could be 5001 or 2 or 3. So as we head into uncertain economic times, and I mean, it's a really live business case out there at the minute looking at what's happening. We've had Brexit discussions. We are now in the interim stage where Brexit has been agreed and we're moving into that discussion and negotiation phase. Brexit is approaching. There's been a lot of discussion this morning about Brexit. We're also being shaped by COVID-19. That's very much about our health and our safety, but it very much has a very real issue for us in terms of business. You see local shops having to introduce new initiatives in terms of social distancing, in terms of hygiene. Some businesses are closed. That's all very real issues that you, from a business background and through a business degree, would start to learn. And you can become part of that very significant future and possibly shape it because you would be the future world of business. That's what we're trying to do. So let's get back to basics. And this is really personal for me. And I'll tell you why. I'm not just telling you that you should come and study business at McGee. The reason why I'm telling you should study business at McGee is because I did it and I came back. I studied an undergraduate degree within the same department that I'm currently associate head in, and it was business studies with specialisms. I thoroughly enjoyed the degree. It was very, very interesting, and it wasn't that many years ago. It was only a few. I did the year-long placement. I worked for a regional development agency in Belfast. I then left after my degree and went to work in the financial services sector, which really inspired me to start to think about education and marketing and how the future was evolving. And I went back at that stage and did a PhD in marketing, specifically looking at internet banking. I've done many things in between that in terms of my academic career, so the rest is history. So this is really personal for me. I wanted to share the fact that I'm coming at this from the point of view that I sat where you are, maybe not with the technology that you're using, but I did sit and listen to somebody that told me, you should think about a business related degree at McGee. And I did do it, and I never ever regretted it. It was one of the best decisions I've ever made because personally and professionally, I have taken so much from that, both friends, in terms of career, in terms of just who I am today. So, and I really think it's important to share that personal story. So, why business? A number of reasons why business is a really good choice. As I've already said, it's vital to the economy. I've given you some figures around the economic impact of us as an Ulster University Business School in terms of 40 million. However, as a business, there's a lot more wealth created in terms of returns as far as jobs are concerned, investment in terms of other local services, securing cleaning services, securing raw materials. So you start to create, it's about wealth creation. Business is also very important because it offers a wide variety of career paths. This doesn't just mean that if you do a business related degree that you are confined to a very small number of careers, as we'll talk about later. It opens up opportunities and choice for you. And it's something we have tried to ensure that we provide you with that opportunity to do, because what we've done with some of our degrees is we've allowed you, once you've had an opportunity to learn in your first year, to then subsequently go ahead and specialise in your second and final year. When you're more informed about what the business world is really about, and indeed what sparks your interest, what motivates you, what gets you up in the morning. I mean, we all have to ask that question, and it's marketing is my area. So for you, it might be enterprise, it may be accounting, it might be business analytics. We're giving you that choice to do those kinds of subjects. We're very much about transferable skills. The reason why business is so useful as a degree and opens up so many opportunities, because we're really in the world of changing times. Long before COVID-19 and pre-Brexit, we were looking at what does the future of work really look like? It's going to be different. And I want to touch upon some of that there, some of the interesting stuff in terms of the transferable skills. Skills that you can learn whilst you're doing your degree, skills that you can learn through our placement program and through our various employability initiatives, that mean that once you're finished your degree, you have a suite of skills to offer an employer, and that's the reason why they want to employ you. The opportunities are global, they're national, they're local if you want them. Geography doesn't restrict you in terms of business, and even more so now as we've really started to see the benefit of technology in our everyday lives. We have students that started working with US companies, and they're based in Donegal, they're based in Dungiven, some of them are based in Newry, some are based in Belfast, but they're working day to day with their US companies, all as a result of technology. You don't have to work with US companies. You can work for our local homegrown brands. You can work nationally with some of our organizations. The opportunities are not restricted to geography. Starting salaries are always really useful, and there's always a lot of debate around what starting salaries do and don't look like. And there's a lot of variation. And some of the figures that I've tried to give you an idea or a flavour for how these vary. These are the graduate starting salaries for somebody in the UK from a business discipline. And the starting salary is between 29,000, 22,000, 22,500 and 29,000. It varies somewhere between that. And that's in 2018. So the starting salaries are really particularly good, and they can grow from there. In terms of opportunities, this is just a sample of some of the organisations that are based in Northern Ireland that in fact you could potentially work for. And what I've tried to show you is it's not just the typical Tesco's or Sainsbury's or Aldi or Lidl, the key retailers that you might see every day in terms of a brand that you would recognise. Those also provide you with those graduate opportunities. But there's a wealth of organisations out there. And as a result of successfully completing your degree in business, you have that opportunity to tap into any graduate jobs that these particular companies may have to offer. We give you the skills and we'll give you the knowledge. The rest is up to you. But we don't leave you on your own either. And we'll talk about that a wee bit more, because one of the things I really wanted to touch on was, before we even get into the programme, is McGee campus. And the reason why I want to touch on the campus is because you're going to spend a lot of time. And I know I'm talking at the moment whilst we're sitting in isolation and we're all sitting in some variation of lockdown. But the campus itself is hugely important, because that's where you're going to be physically based. That's where you're going to study. And when you're going to spend either 3 or 4 years of your life in a location, it's good to know, what is that location all about? If you're going on holidays for 1 week, you spend a lot of time checking out the hotel. So why not do the same thing, checking out the campus? We offer a really friendly atmosphere at McGee, and I can vouch for that 100%. And I will talk to that a wee bit later on, as will Catherine, who is a real live student that can give you that really experienced view. Not the really dated view that I have. And it's not really dated, but not the view that I have, because you might think, well, I'm a wee bit biased, I work there. Catherine's currently a student there, and she can really give you a sense for what it feels like. It's very supportive. We're based in the second city in Northern Ireland, in Derry, Londonderry. We're in the northwest of Northern Ireland, quite close to Donegal. And from a Brexit and international business point of view, we're in a really, really advantageous location because of our very close proximity to the border. We're starting to look at learning has become really, really location based at the moment in terms of, well, if you're based in Northern Ireland and you're selling products to the Republic of Ireland after Brexit, what does that look like? What about transitioning across borders in terms of moving from the European Union into non-EU, which would be Northern Ireland post-Brexit? What does all that start to look like? And our location gives us a really, really, really good advantage in terms of living that out. In terms of a campus, we've ongoing investment. We've state-of-the-art teaching facilities, and pictures really don't give a sense for this. I mean, whenever I go into our teaching facilities, our newly built teaching facilities as well, I just have a sense of awe because it's absolutely phenomenal. We've research and support facilities for students and staff alike, and I'm sure you have all heard about the most recent announcement with the graduate medical school. So we are a thriving, growing contemporary campus. We've cutting-edge research and teaching delivered in all on the campus across all 4 faculties, including Ulster University Business School. Our sports facilities are particularly good and they've been refurbished. So you have somewhere to escape. It's like a village all of its own. Our new teaching and learning space has been a major investment. We do have world-class teaching provision. We do have world-class teaching facilities. And that has completely enhanced the student experience. The library that we would have known of old is no longer that lines and lines of books on very mahogany-looking shelves that looks dated, but as you would expect a library to look like. We have gone very contemporary and modern. It's about a learning space, and it's absolutely quite impressive. And I would encourage everybody, whenever you're allowed to move, whenever we're allowed to visit places again post-COVID, take a chance to go and visit the campus and look at these facilities because they truly are really, really impressive. This is some of the pictures. And one of the things I wanted to show here was the fact we mix traditional with modern. You'll find the picture on the left, top left, is of our Martha McGee's building, which has a lot of, it's steeped in heritage. It's old. Our students often refer to it as the Harry Potter building. We've then got these state-of-the-art facilities in terms of our teaching spaces, in terms of our teaching blocks, in terms of our teaching areas, in terms of, you'll see an example of one of our lecture theatres. And unless you're sitting in that lecture theatre, these are very immersive. It feels as if you are surrounded by information. It's just the way the sound is used, the way we can deliver content, the way we can provide an interactive experience in the class. And that's just to give you a sense of visually what it looks like. I always think it's really useful to get an idea of what somewhere looks like. So now that you know about the campus, now that you know about the faculty in terms of the Ulster University Business School, let's talk some about the Department of Global Business and Enterprise. I've already said the business world is changing and it is challenging. We have COVID-19, we have Brexit, we have developments in terms of technology. We're trying to curb carbon footprints. We're trying to reduce our impact in the environment. How does that affect transport? How does that affect us in terms of getting our products and our goods and services to our customers? All very real business related issues. Through our programs and our courses, we are recognizing those challenges and opportunities. We are preparing our graduates for the business sector. As I've already said, whether it's a local, national, and international level. And we do that in so many different ways. We have an internationally recognized research team that will be teaching you in the classroom based on their own research and indeed informed by their strong business collaborations through that consultancy work I previously mentioned. And that enhances our teaching overall. And it means not only are we giving you the theory that you need to understand in terms of business, but you're also getting the information in terms of what it looks like from a practice point of view. What's happening day to day. So we're very committed as a department and indeed as a faculty to provide you with exposure to global trends so that we're developing managers for the global age. It's not about developing it's important to know that and be knowledgeable of what's happened, what has gone before. But we're looking to the future in terms of what do businesses need. And at the Department of Global Business and Enterprise, we are very much about getting business done. We are one of 4 departments within the Ulster University Business School. That's where we sit. And we are the only faculty, we are the only department within the faculty based at the Magee campus. We're very much about our students. It's about a quality educational experience and applied learning. And what does applied learning mean? It's all about practice. So as opposed to saying company A and company B are doing X, Y, and Z, we'll be talking to you about a real live organisation that are facing a particular challenge, that are looking to an international market to grow, and asking you then to try and talk about what they should do. What have you learned from theory that would tell you what would be a good idea? So really, what we're trying to do is to make you highly employable so that within the classroom, we're developing the skills that you will need, similar to what you would need in an organisation. If you were working for them and they were saying, okay, so we're looking to an international market, that you could step up and say, yeah, I know exactly what we should be looking at here. We should be looking at gathering particular types of information. We'll help you to achieve that. Why the Department of Global Business and Enterprise? We are about regional engagement. We are engaged with businesses. I've already said we have a very unique location, which means we're cross-border. We work with businesses both sides of the border, which means post-Brexit, we'll be working with both EU-based companies and non-EU-based companies to give you that applied learning. As a department, we've really strong links with other institutions right throughout the world, US, China, Canada, Italy, and Germany, to name but a few. We have visiting professors, as I've already said at the start. Those are individuals who are leaders in the business community in Northern Ireland. And the reason why they're there is to help tell us what they do on a day-to-day basis. So in addition to our research, in addition to our own work and our collaborations, we can ensure that you as graduates will have the skills that are needed by businesses today and tomorrow. A lot of our courses are accredited by professional bodies, and you'll see some of these courses right through from the Institute of Chartered Accountants in Ireland and the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. We also work closely with other professional bodies, the Chartered Institute of Marketing and the Institute of Export and International Trade. So we work with the professional bodies relevant to the different disciplines. Again, the purpose is to give you as much advantage as a graduate and as much knowledge as we can to make you as employable as possible. What about our staff? So we've talked about the location, we've talked about our faculty, we've talked about the department generally. We have a very strong team at Magee, professionally qualified team that are bringing a lot of managerial experience from previous careers and indeed international experience from previous careers again, but also indeed from their academic work and their research. Our practice is research informed. We develop teaching that's informed by what we do, by our research, what's happening, what companies are looking for, by that consultancy work. And these are just an example of some of the areas of research that are being undertaken by staff within the department. It ranges from everything about internationalization to entrepreneurship and developing entrepreneurial skills, from public and private sector organizations. We're looking at digital approaches to business, right down to mobile banking. So that's just a sample of some of the work that's going on within the department. Staff, as I've already said, are regularly involved in consultancy, and we have secured substantial funding over the years across a large number of staff to conduct research, both from UK-based organisations and governments through to the European Union. And as staff, we are recognised in terms of our teaching qualifications. So it's one thing somebody having the knowledge about business, but they need to be able to to creatively be able to provide that information to students so that they can learn. And the way we do that is through our teaching. And we are also professionally accredited in terms of our teaching and learning, because all staff have affiliation to the Higher Education Academy, which recognises our quality and our standards in terms of our teaching and learning. And in fact, 7 of our staff have achieved senior fellows in this particular area. I want to go back to that community that I talked about and that village of McGee. And I can speak to this personally. These are some of the words that our students use to reflect on what the learning environment is like. From within the classroom, from staff, from being on campus, from having a cup of coffee, to walking through campus, going from classroom to classroom. It's vibrant, happy. It's about education. We're in it together. Supportive, helpful. And I can really speak to that because we do have a real sense of community. McGee has, it's a really interesting dynamic. People have just, there's a sense of unitedness within the campus in terms of everybody is very supportive of each other, whether it's staff with students, other students with students, staff with each other, within our different services that we offer on campus across the library in terms of our catering, right across, you will find a really sharing, caring and togetherness in terms of everybody is there to help each other achieve and be the best version of themselves. And that's really something I think you'll never get a sense of it walking through the campus immediately, but whenever you're part of it, you'll learn that. And people come back, we have alumni that come back year on year on year, just touching base. You'll always be part of that community. We have graduates, of those graduates that graduated many, many years ago that are based in countries throughout the world, we still hear from them. They're still part of that community. And you too could be part of that. So in terms of what we offer, so you can study. We're very much about the discipline, about learning knowledge, but we're also about developing your skills. And how we do that is through placement. And placement or study abroad. So the third year normally of your course within the university, you are provided with the opportunity to study for a year in another institution, often with some of our US partners institutions that are supported by the British Council. We also have opportunities for you to work within organisations. Why do we do that? Well, the reason why we do that is because that's how we'll add value to you. You'll have built your knowledge. Then what we do is we're allowing you to develop even more so those transferable skills by working day to day in a business environment, by studying in a completely different culture. The work is paid, or the study abroad for the year, there is access to funding that you can apply for. The opportunities for placement are locally, nationally and internationally. And I'll give you a flavour of some of the organisations that we work with in a moment, but the opportunity is not just about developing your transferable skills and having a great time for a year in another institution or indeed working for an organisation, but we also provide you with an additional qualification in the form of a university diploma in professional practice if you complete the placement year, or indeed a diploma in academic studies if you complete a study abroad year. So not only would you leave university with your degree, you're also leaving with another university and globally recognised qualification to tell employers that you not only do you have the knowledge around your business discipline, but you also have developed skills that we have assessed and recognised to be of a particular standard. In terms of our placement across the faculty, we have over 400 students per year that go out in placement. And approximately a quarter of those will be based in international locations. That's hugely important. And the choice is yours. You don't have to go to an international placement. You can do a local placement. You can do a national placement. We help and support you in terms of trying to secure placement and indeed identifying a placement that's suitable for you. And why do we do that? And it's all about developing your skills. Developing your skills so that you have the relevant attitude, aptitude and skills for when you graduate. And you can work across a variety of different organisations with public sector organisations. You can work in the health, in terms of our hospitals, in some of the trusts throughout Northern Ireland. There's opportunities in terms of the private sector with a huge number of organisations, both large and small. The choice is yours. And this is an example of some of our placement providers. right across the spectrum, from small to large, from local to national. We also have charities that provide opportunities. We also have international opportunities and public and private sector. So this is a very small snapshot, because bear in mind, we have over 400 students per year going out in placement. And you too can take advantage of that. Why would you want to? I mean, I suppose the reason why people want to do a degree is, well, I think back to why I wanted to do a degree. It was about getting more knowledge, and it was trying to get a career and develop my skills. And I suppose at that stage, you're thinking about, that's really your focus at this point, trying to identify your discipline. But really, it's also what we're thinking about is future-proofing you and looking at your skills. And here's some interesting facts to bear in mind. And forgive me, this future of work is a bit of a hobby horse of mine. So if anybody has 3 days and wants an additional seminar, I am more than happy to spend a lot of time talking about it. But here's some of the headline stuff. 40% of jobs are in roles today that didn't exist 50 years ago. 40% of jobs. So 50 years ago, people were studying in different degrees. They were doing different types of programs of education. And they're now occupying jobs. And we now have jobs that at that time didn't exist. 40% of our jobs currently didn't exist then. Monster.com have come up with some wonderful examples of new jobs that are growing and developing. Drone manager. So you won't just have a transport manager anymore. You may have a drone manager who will be managing a number of programs to inform and use drone deliveries. We have self-drive car mechanics. How do we also have, in terms of developing and selling those products, the type of way that you'll sell a self-drive car will be very different. So technology is growing. Technology is indeed currently in 2020 replacing and creating jobs. Some jobs are being replaced. We see this more and more in terms of the fact that we are using technology to remotely work, even more so than we did 1 year ago. And obviously that has been driven quite significantly by COVID-19, but it still means that technology is growing rapidly, and it's replacing jobs, but it's creating jobs. So whenever somebody looks back in another 40 years' time to 2020, I would love to know, will it just be 40% of jobs that will exist in 2060 that didn't exist now, or will it be maybe 90%? And why am I telling you this? Well, it's because human skills are now becoming increasingly important. So by developing your knowledge in a particular business discipline, and alongside that, developing your transferable skills, that future-proofs you in terms of the labour market. Business disciplines are versatile. And the skills that you will need, those human skills, that creativity, that empathy, ability to motivate, those kinds of key skills that we will try to encourage and instill in you will stand the test of time. So regardless of what technology brings along, we will always need these human skills to ensure that we deliver on the jobs that exist now, and indeed the jobs are likely to exist in the future. So one of the key things about future of work and about future-proofing yourself is about lifelong learning. And we'll always be learning. We're always upskilling and reskilling, and you're at the start of that very significant career now, and we would love to be part of that. So how will we do that? And I'm going to look at some of our programs. We have a number of programs at undergraduate level. One of them is the Business Studies with Specialisms program. And I alluded to this program slightly at the start, because what is this program? Well, it's about the first year of this particular program is spent learning very broad business and management subject areas. So you'll be looking at management, you'll be looking at accounting, economics, those broad business disciplines, which will then allow you to take a specialised pathway in year 2. And what we've done is we've identified 3 critical pathways. One of them is enterprise, one of them is marketing, and one of them is accounting. Enterprise is about developing those entrepreneurial skills and thinking. It allows you to start, a lot of people start thinking about entrepreneurial skills, and it's very much about self-employment. For others, it's about looking at marketing in terms of developing markets and products locally and internationally. And then for accounting, it's about how we use numbers to inform business decision making and choices. So after you have completed that first year, you will then be in a position then where you're more informed about the subject areas that appeal more to you, that you find most interesting, that you feel you would like to specialise in as you proceed through the remainder of your degree programme. This particular programme has indeed strong links with professional bodies, and it also includes a year-long placement, 48 weeks, as I've already mentioned, that you can take either locally, nationally or internationally, or indeed that study abroad year. We also offer a degree in business with computing. So this is about marrying the business and management elements together with computer operating systems. So how do you use computer networks, hardware, cybersecurity, all those key computing areas from a management point of view. And it allows you to branch into careers such as the graduate management scheme. It'll allow you to branch into careers such as ICT coordinator, support desk, analyst, software developer. The range is quite significant. So again, the opportunities are there. The roles are quite significant for all these particular programs. It's anything from graduate management programs right through to supervisory roles, project management, business development, self-employment. And as you can imagine, those career titles are quite broad. So it really is about providing you with choice, opportunities and choice. We've also got a degree in business analytics, which is very much about providing a focus on managing data and information systems. And again, it's taking a blend of business and computing so that we can provide you with the necessary digital knowledge about data, how best to manage that, how to analyze that data in order to inform business practices and decision making. And again, the careers are quite broad. This is a very brief example from an analyst right through to opportunities in fintech. So again, business analytics could provide you with those opportunities. We have degrees in accounting, and again, similar to the business studies with specialisms, we have accounting with specialisms. And it's a premium accounting degree that allows you after the first year to specialise in 3 different areas from taxation, information systems and management. This particular programme has very strong professional body links and indeed exemptions. So when you study in this particular programme, because of the very strong links with the professional bodies, you can get exemptions then when you're seeking your professional qualifications with ACCA, CIMA and Chartered Accountants Ireland. You could look at the accounting and marketing. And again, it's about marrying the blend of accounting and marketing modules, again, with very strong professional body exemptions, taking financial and management accounting along with taxation and business law to develop, whilst developing your knowledge around key marketing management issues and consumer behaviour, and looking at that digital international marketing strategies and communications. So what careers can you get from the variety of different accounting and professional services exam or degrees, in addition to those careers that we've already looked at in terms of business? And the range is quite significant, everything from working with a professional services firm through to management consultancy, self-employment through your own practice, banking, credit analysis, fintech. The list is quite extensive. So by choosing one of these particular programs within our particular department, you're providing yourself with choice when it comes to looking at careers. And now I'm going to hand you over to Catherine, who is our placement student, and Catherine will give you a bit of it's currently on placement at the moment, but is one of our students within our department, and Catherine will give you a bit of a flavour for what it's like to be a real live student. So you don't have to take my word on it, Catherine will tell you all about it.
Hi, hope you've all been listening anyway so far, because Laura's been giving you a great overview of the courses, and I know for a fact because I do the accounting and marketing course. So I have completed my second year in that, and I'm now finishing off my year of placement before I hopefully go back in September to finish my degree and do my final year. So I've really enjoyed my degree, but I've really enjoyed it because the degree itself isn't just interesting and challenging and giving me opportunities such as the placement, but as well as that, opportunities like Young Enterprise. So within my second year, I was able to take part in the startup program of Young Enterprise, which took me not only to London for the UK finals, but also gained me the Student of the Year award in Northern Ireland, which I'm really proud of, and was an amazing opportunity that wouldn't have been afforded to me had I not been to McGee. So my degree itself, I actually chose it because it was the only accounting and marketing 50-50 split in the UK when I was applying to university, and I really wanted to have those transferable skills, and it was the only one that had what I was looking for, and even now I know that it was the perfect choice for me. As well as that, I really can't emphasize how important it is to get to the McGee campus, to get that feel of community that Laura is talking about. I first went for it was a business applicant evening, I think, and how I felt when I went was, I can see myself studying here, I can see myself working here, I can see myself living here, and I've honestly missed it so much this year because I've been working in the Jordanstown campus, and it just doesn't compare to the McGee one.
Doesn't. Well, I have Catherine.
So I really love McGee because, yeah, like Laura says about the library refurbishment, which is a fantastic space. There's so many different spaces on campus for whatever way you study as well. They're really flexible and open that way, which is fantastic. But as well as that, the general student life is fantastic. The Students' Union always have things going on to keep you involved. There's so many different types of societies and clubs. It's just something that really doesn't just keep the opportunities and experience in the lecture halls. They give you it well outside that as well, which is fantastic. So as you can see here, a few of my different groups of friends. So Young Enterprise, some groups for group projects as well. It was meant to be 5, we ended up with 9, but everybody pulled their weight, so it was fine. It worked out. So yeah, as well as that, the accommodation and everything with McGee is phenomenal. I stayed in the student village in my first year and absolutely adored it. It was honestly amazing. You get to meet so many different people, but you still have that kind of structure of quiet hours and things, which is good for when tests and things are coming up and you maybe don't want to be out partying too late, which is fantastic. So as well as this, because McGee is the smallest Ulster University campus, it's fantastic for the lecturers getting back to you. I know that when I'm walking through the campus that the lecturers know my name and I know theirs, and they know what I got in my last assessment, and they know how many emails I've annoyed them with from the last class. But it's good to know that when you're doing things, that they always care what you're doing and actually know who they're talking to. They always have time to answer your questions. They're all really approachable and accessible, which I feel might be lost in the larger campuses because they're dealing with such large classes. McGee's fantastic that way because no matter what your issue is, somebody's there to help you, and they all want to make sure that you're getting the most out of this degree and your time with them as possible. And in the actual city itself, it's fantastic. It's the amount of different social things going on is amazing. You know, everybody thinks student life is just about bars, and whilst there's millions of those to go to in Derry, there's also fantastic things like the late cafes that stay open and the gorgeous walks you get near the foil. You know, there's so much going on in the actual city, and it's hard not to fall in love with the place. And I can't believe it's only coming up now in the presentation, but Halloween in Derry is phenomenal. You honestly stick out like a sore thumb if you haven't got dressed up. And it's just one of those nights that's kind of magical. And when you come away from it, you're like, I'm not going to see anything like that anywhere else. It's just a place I've really enjoyed studying and living, and I really can't wait to get back up to it. I hate talking about it because it makes me miss it more.
Delighted to hear that, Catherine. I should have actually let you know as well, one of the things that Halloween is big in the city, and I actually made it a requirement one year, my first year Principles of Marketing class many years ago, that everybody had to attend dressed up. So I was teaching Wonder Woman, there was Batman, there was dogs coming through, there was all different costumes, and you know what? It was about celebrating something that was really important to the students, and it added a bit of flavour in terms of the class. So we do bring the city into the classroom as well, and into the lecture theatres. So maybe that's something I need to start again. I'll have to ask our head of department, maybe as staff we should start it first in terms of meetings, first of all. But thank you very much, Catherine, for that, and for, I suppose, a very personal journey for you in terms of what McGee means to you. And I think adding on what I had said from my personal journey and the contemporary programmes that we deliver, I mean, it is all about business at McGee, and it really is a wonderful choice in terms of providing you with different degree programmes that will suit a variety of different needs, and providing you with great career opportunities, whilst also giving you a really great opportunity to study in a wonderful location amongst wonderful people for 3 or 4 years. So to round up the presentation, I suppose it's about telling you, you know, there are Ulster courses available. There's a variety of different Ulster courses that you can pick. I've went through some of the ones within our particular department. Just to let you know, you can actually search for your business course through this particular, as the screen is showing you, you can search for business. That will bring you through to a particular business studies program, which will bring you then through the various overview of the program, what the entry requirements are, what the requirements, all the different areas in terms of what you would, you've got accounting, you've got loads of, so you can search for these particular programs in your own time, and that will allow you then to get all the information that you need, how to apply, and some generic details with regards to the program. We also have a number of recruitment webinar events that are coming up, so please do visit our webinars page. There are more webinars that you might find really helpful, that will be really interesting for you to listen to, and it'll give you the information that you need to make the best and most informed choices around your particular program of study. We also have our open days, and I'm saying open days, and what those particular open days will look like, I'm not quite sure, but please do visit our webpage, ulster.ac.uk/open days, where you'll see the events that we have scheduled. Now, whether these take place in a physical capacity or whether they're going to be used, whether we're going to deliver these in a more virtual form, only time will tell as COVID-19 becomes less or more of an issue, and as we see how lockdown and the progress of the virus is. But we'll keep you informed of all this information. Either way, if we can't get to meet you physically, we're going to ensure we get to meet you virtually. We'll do our very, very best. So you'll find all the details about open days on this particular link. And it's about getting in touch. On the search page that I've shown you about searching for the particular program, you'll find details on who you can contact after this particular webinar if you want to speak to somebody about a particular program, if you want to speak to somebody in admissions. If there's details that you want, you do have our question and answers function to use as well. We are very open. We would contact us, get in touch, ask us anything that you need. We have a number of different sources and a number of different ways that you can get in touch. First of all, through our admissions, you can contact them via telephone or email. You can also have, if you have an inquiry about courses, you can contact through our email at study@ulster.ac.uk. And we also have our uni buddies. And those are existing students that you can use through chatbot. And Catherine there is one of them. And we also have Robert. So you'll find different students that are available to talk to ask questions of. So please do. There's no such thing as a silly question. There's just an unasked question. And trust me, ask questions, get the details that you need, and then be confident in the decision that you've made. That brings to an end everything that I've had to say. Thank goodness, says you. That was very much a whistle-stop tour. I want to thank you sincerely for bearing with me. There's so much that I wanted to tell you, and I hope I've brought some kind of spirit of that through in this particular presentation. I would love to be welcoming you to our department. I'd love to show you in real life what I've delivered today is in fact the spirit of McGee, and indeed to see you walking across a stage for graduation in 3 or 4 years' time and know that we have shaped your career and your future to make you the best version of you that you can be. More than happy to take any questions. Don't be asking me any hard questions now. If there are any, I'm not sure. Michael can.
Yeah,
probably
no, nothing come through there. Hey, Laura, no, nothing's come through there just at the minute. But just like to reiterate just what Laura and stuff was saying there. Fantastic campus, and do take the opportunity to go up there whenever that does come around. Hopefully, as Laura was saying, we'll have our open days. But if not, there will be plenty of times. There'll be applicant events. There'll be other events that we'll organise that hopefully will get you up to McGee. Have a look around. As Catherine was saying, what's it like to live there? What's it like to study there? Going out, the social life, but also just the feel on the campus. It is a lovely campus to go up to. So no doubt you'll enjoy that when the time comes around. So nothing seems to be coming through there just at the minute, Laura. You must have covered everything in that much detail. Nobody's any questions, you know.
I'll take that as a positive at this stage. Then.
Yes, I would. I would indeed, absolutely.
That's great. As I've said, and Michael, just to reinforce that, if there are any questions, there are all those different avenues that you can use in terms of telephone, in terms of email, in terms of the chatbots with our uni buddies. So please do feel free, anybody, through the webinars, and indeed share the information with any of your friends that you think should have been here and maybe didn't get a chance to, or maybe connections went down. And this webinar will be available to download as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, it'll be available on the website in a couple of days, so people can listen again to your